So welcome everyone to another online training brought to you by your teaching and learning department. Woo. So today we have Remind, and Stephanie Fox is going to be guiding us through it. Just a couple of housekeeping items. This is being recorded just like all the others. Again, you can go to the professional development website under CSD bookmarks and click on the EdTech training forum, and that will take you to all the Googles and the other tools like Remind and Seesaw, Screencastify, all these that we've been working with. And so they'll have a link there that will link you to the Teaching and Learning YouTube page. You could go to the Teaching and Learning YouTube page, and that link will have that out there as well. I'll send that out. And a couple people have hopped on board and actually subscribed to the YouTube page. So when a new training has been put in or new video has been put in, they'll get notified, and then that way we don't have to deal with emails with them. They can just throw my email away because they've already been notified through YouTube. So there are ways of doing that. In Remind, we're going to be doing, again, for some clock hours, we'll have an assignment for you at the end. Let's see, other housekeeping. I don't have my notes in front of me. I'm winging this one. Typically, I would tell you need to stand up and go to the bathroom. It's not going to bother us. Go ahead and stand up and go to the bathroom. We'll never see it. So, Stephanie, I'm going to go ahead and turn it over to you. And let me turn this little ticker off. Google Classroom. Yes, so we'll be posting things in the Google Classroom. It's the Professional Development Teaching and Learning Classroom. And so that's the classroom code that you can go to and put into your Google Classroom. I'll leave that up for a little bit, and you'll be able to get the slide deck and also the information for the assignment. Yeah, so I think that's everything I've got. So Stephanie, I'm going to turn it over to you. I'm going to back out of here and get me out. Turn you back.
Perfect. Well, thank you, Robert, so much. Welcome to Remind Training. If you're here live, thanks so much for joining us on this bright and early morning. I know 9:30 is not really early anymore, but so I hope this training can just be a great overview of how to use Remind. It's a tool that I have been using for, I think, almost 3 years now, pretty consistently. So I found it to be a really helpful tool when it comes to communication. But especially during the distance learning model, it was definitely a godsend during the springtime, just being able to talk to parents and students and sort of have that instant connection there. So if you're joining us live, I would love to know what you have already experienced with Remind. So if you want to throw that in the chat box, are you familiar with it? Have you used it before? Have you never seen it before? Just kind of see where we are with everything. I'll kind of be looking over there a little bit. So just so you know, the difference between Remind last year and Remind this year is that before, teachers could sign up for a free Remind account. That is still true, but our district has actually gone ahead and purchased the district plan. And that's a big benefit to us because it's going to add a couple of features that you don't get if you have the free plan. And so I'll go over those two additional features. 2 or 3 additional features that we have. They'll be really helpful as we're going along. So again, Remind is one of those things where you can just send messages, you can send announcements, you can message students back and forth, and we'll talk about how to do all of that. And one of the new features is actually being able to call students. So if you were trying to call students in the spring, like trying to do, find different ways to do that securely, you actually can call parents and families through the Remind app as well. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and ask if everybody can make their way to remind.com. You will see that on the screen right here. If you already have an account, then go ahead and just log in. If you've never created an account, then go ahead and hit sign up. And then you just need to make sure you sign up with your school Google account. So I'll give you a minute to go ahead and do that. Yep. So another really great benefit of the district plan is now that students and parents will be loaded straight from Skyward. So students can still add on their own, but that should eliminate some of the issues with students signing up and parents signing up because everyone will already be preloaded. That's happening now. We're sort of in a vortex of Skyward updates right now, so we're working on it. So like I don't have any Skyward classes in my roster right now. You'll see my classes from last year when we get there. So I'm going to go ahead and log in as well, and hopefully you can join me. And please, if I'm going too fast, let me know. I tend to talk fast, so I'm trying to go slower. All right. So this is the main Remind screen when you log in. So I'm gonna go and just kind of walk through what's on the screen here. And then first thing I'm gonna talk about is how to add a class and then how to message and send out announcements. So you'll see here on the top corner is good morning, and then this is my name. So you can choose how you wanna have your name presented. So I choose Miss Fox for my name. And then down here is the list of all your classes. So again, if Skyward has started to populate, you might have some classes in here. In the springtime, Skyward did link up and they did merge our accounts. And so you might have like one day had I had 14 classes show up out of the blue. I went ahead and archived those because I didn't need them. I already had classes created. If you have anything in there that you don't want, you can archive that, and I will show you how to do that here in a few minutes. But these are my classes from last year, and I've kept them open over the summer because I wanted the ability to talk to students sort of throughout the summer as information was changing, and so parents and students, by the way. So I did leave those open, but I'm going to archive them at the end of this training, but I wanted to have them here for you. Okay, so and we'll talk about how classes were designed. Again, with Skyward being linked, it will probably be by period for K6. And then K5 will probably be just one class period, but it's going to depend on how your school organizes the classes in Skyward. So that's how that's decided. You also can join classes. I'm going to actually have you do that there in a few minutes. So if you join any class, so you can both be a leader of a class and also join a class as well. And then down here, we have the schools we're connected to. And again, we want to make sure we're connected to our schools. So I'm connected to Chehalis Middle School. And then we should all be connected to the Chehalis School District because we are part of the district plan. Okay, so that's what's on that side of the screen. And then I actually have third period open right now. So you can see here is all the announcements I've sent. We'll talk about that in a second. Up at the top, we have messages, we have files that you have sent. You can send all kinds of files, a list of people that belong to that class, calls. So that's something new. We'll talk about that. And then settings, and that's something we're going to talk about first. Okay. So the first thing we're going to have you do is we're actually going to have you go ahead and make a class. It's super easy and it's okay. It's just a little dummy class. And if you don't need it, you can archive it as soon as this training is over. So right over here where it says create a class, we're going to go ahead and just hit that plus sign and that box should come up. Okay, you can give it any name that you want. So I'm going to go ahead and just give it Mind Test class. Okay. And then the class code, again, you can choose any code that you want. If it's already been used, it'll just tell you it's not available. So I usually kind of do some version of my name, and then I just do a bunch of numbers until it says I can use it. So it says that one's not available. So maybe I'll try some other combination of numbers. So that one works. Nope, that disappeared. Okay. Mind Test All right, and then again, you want to make sure that you're connected to Chehalis Middle School. And then down here, so there is a security issue with messaging students. And so they do have you check the box that says, I will only message people 13 or older. So that's about 8th grade level. It doesn't mean that you can't use it with them. It just means those younger kids, they need parent permission to make sure that it's safe and secure, because this application is really built for schools. So at every level, they want to make sure that the security and all of those things are right there. Okay. And then I can just go ahead and click create. And then that class is going to show up in my list of classes. So I'll let you go ahead and do that. And there it is. I have my class there. Okay. All right. So the next thing we want to look at is when we have the class set up, the first thing you want to do before you start adding people is you want to go to the settings, because you want to make sure that it's set up the exact same way, or the exact way that you want it set up. So I'm going to go over here to settings. So just click on the class that you want and then settings. And you'll see there's the name. So if you want to change the name, you can change the avatar. So if you want to change the picture, they have a whole bunch of pictures you can pick from. So maybe I'll just choose the computer. There we go. Oh, say I had a typo in my class name. So I'm going to change that. There's my code. I wouldn't suggest changing the code once you pick one, just because you want to keep it consistent. Okay. So the next one is class visibility. So you want to make it as easy as possible for people to find your class, right? So you want to make sure that class visibility is turned on, because then when people go to Remind, they can actually search you. So if parents want to come in and try to find your class, they can log in with their account, and then they can go to Chehalis Middle School, and they actually can search for different teachers or whatever, Lintot or West or whatever. And so you want to make sure that's on. It's default on, but to make sure that one's clicked. The require approval to join. So if you have any concerns about random people joining your Remind, you might want to click that. I've never had an issue, because I give the code to specific people, right? I only give the code to people, parents and students that are in my class. So it's not really easy to kind of find the code anywhere. So, but if you have any fears about that, you would just have to approve them before they were able to be added. Again, they should be added through Skyward, so that shouldn't be an issue. Okay. So messaging is the next big thing, right? So you have 3 options, and we'll talk about the kind of pros and cons of each one. So these are role-based. So the first one is on, and that means that all participants in class can message each other. So one thing to remember about Remind is that, like in my 3rd period class, it's going to be parents and students, right? It's not 3rd grade parents and 3rd grade students. You can make 2 different classes if you wanted to do it that way, but Skyward is going to load everybody into the same class. So if you get to your Remind, you're like, I have 50 people. You don't have 50 kids, I promise, okay? It's probably your 20 kids and then their parents. So if you click on for participant messaging, then every kid and every parent can message each other. So that's something you have to be aware of. It would all be within the app, but they all could see each other and all message each other, okay? Role-based means that only those 2 separate groups can message each other. So only students can message students and parents can message parents, okay? And I usually choose off because I have 8th graders. And so I like to kind of lock it down early. And then if I want to, increase their flexibility, I can do that later. But I really want it to be more of a communication tool between me and the parent and me and the student, not so much between the parents and students as their own group. Okay. So, so what I do is just have it on off, because I want to make sure that I'm in control of the messaging and sort of what's going out and what's being talked about in the group. But again, based on your comfort level on what you're doing, you can pick one of those. And then again, there's that thing about I will only message people 13 or older. It's okay if students are 13 or under 13. They're just going to send an email, and parents will have to give permission. So just kind of be aware of that. So class owners. So if you guys team teach, and let's say you guys want to have a one class, or maybe there's several of you that are in one group, then you can have multiple class owners. A couple of things for that. A class owner So I'm a class owner because I made the class. If I want to add another class owner, they would have to be a part of my class first. So let's say, my teaching neighbor over here, Denise, we were going to team teach. Let's say I had to add her to my class first as just like a participant, and then I could upgrade her to be a class owner, okay? Now, one thing that's not like Google Classroom, once they're in as a class owner, they cannot be removed. So that's a permanent change. So if you're not okay with having somebody be another member, a full member of your Remind class, then you might not want to do that and just kind of have separate groups. But that is a possibility, right? And then down here is archiving. So again, you want to do this at the end of the year usually, or if there's a class that you made and you're like, I messed it up, I don't want it anymore, you can go ahead and archive it. There's two options. You can archive and then use the code again. So if you have like one class every year, you want to just use the same, Miss Smith's second grade class every single year, just get rid of the kids and then still have that same class there. You can do that and just reuse the same class code. I like to just have a fresh start. So I usually just remove the class. And so I usually click the archive class button and I just remove everybody and then just start fresh every year. So when this training's over, I will go ahead and archive all of these classes from last year because those students are now freshmen. And so they need to go join those groups over there. Okay. So before you add people, you need to make sure that you go through and walk through these settings and make sure they're exactly what you want. Because as soon as you add people, then these settings will take into effect. So you want to make sure you're doing that, right? Okay, so let's talk about adding people. So right now you can see under people tab, it's just me. I'm just hanging out here by myself. I don't have anybody there. So I'm actually going to have you guys join another class that I made. So I'm actually going to go ahead and archive this one because I made one for us. And I thought it would be cool if I made a class for us and you guys can just be a part of this class the whole year and you can send me questions. Let me know how Remind's going. So I'm going to go ahead and archive this one because I no longer want it. And I'm going to show you how to add people, and then I'm actually going to have you join a class so you can see what it looks like from a student perspective as well. And we'll actually practice messaging back and forth. There we go. StreamYard slows my computer down a little bit. Okay, so Remind training class is the one I'm going to have you guys join in a minute. And when it's time to add people, there's a big blue button right here and it says add people. I've already set up my settings. I did that last night, so I have everything set the way I want it to. I'm going to go ahead and hit add people. And you have several options for adding people. You can, if you know the student's name, you can go ahead and type in their name, their phone, or their email, and it will send a message to them. You can also do it from Google Sheets or Excel. I haven't usually had great luck with those just because the formatting of, getting it from Skyward, that kind of thing. And again, guys, remember, Skyward, fingers crossed, very soon, next couple of days, should input all of your kids for you. So I wouldn't necessarily take the time right now to do any of this. I would wait for Skyward to sort of catch up to you. If that doesn't happen or you're eager, then you can definitely do it on your own as well. But definitely wait for Skyward first so you can see what it's going to look like. If you don't want to type them in, this is usually what I do, the printable PDF. So in a normal year, right, we would have open house. So I would print this and it has directions. If a student and a parent has a smartphone, or if it doesn't have a smartphone, it tells them either how to download the app and how to join, or they can text a number if they don't have a smartphone and it can join that way. So they can join from multiple platforms. In fact, people can also just receive an email message as well. So normally I would just print that PDF and just have it out on my table or hand it out to my parents and my kids as I was doing it. I also print this, or I actually save this to my computer, and I will actually attach it to a Skyward email. When I send out my welcome email to all my parents, I will attach these directions as a PDF. And so I sort of hit in multiple places. So like last year, I was able to do that pretty early. So the first day of school, I already had like 50 people in Remind because I had sent those directions out early. Send out class lists or class supply lists, those kind of things early. So the earlier you can do it, kind of the better. In-person instructions. So again, I know some elementary schools might be having some parents in small groups walk through their rooms to meet. You could project this onto your board if you wanted to do that. and just sort of have, so it says at the top, it says text this to this number. We'll talk about the app as well, okay? And then the share the link is new this year. So you can actually share this link through Google Classroom, through Skyward, whatever platform, Seesaw that you're going to be using. You can copy that link and send it directly to parents, and then they can join that way as well. Okay. So those are our 4 ways to join. You can type them in. You can wait for Skyward, actually is the number 1 way to do that. You can type them in, you can print a PDF, and you can hand that out to each person. You could attach that to a Skyward email. You could do in person, or you could share the link with them, okay? So I'm gonna have you join this class right now so you can see. So if you're logged in to Remind on your desktop, all you need to do is go right down here where it says join a class. And then you're going to put in the code, right? So join a class and this box will pop up. And then I'm going to go ahead and give you the code. And then you should be able to join me. So I'm going to do the in-person directions. So my code is at FOX 101202. So if you want to go ahead and do that, and we'll see if anybody can join us. If not, that's fine too. So it's at FOX 101202. Oh, I think people are. There you are. Okay, so my class list just populated, right? Okay. So right now, so you can see your names up there. So you got Carrie. Hi, Carrie. Carrie gets she's part of my parent ones from last year. So she's real tired of hearing from me because she gets messages from me all the time. Hi, Laura, Robert, and Stephanie, and other Stephanie and Denise. Okay. So I'm going to keep this group open all year. So you're welcome to send me a message and ask questions about Remind. So when you do your students and parents, this is what you're going to see, right? So you're going to see their role. So that's super important. So you can see people have a role of teacher. Robert's special. So he's an admin and a teacher, and Stephanie is a parent and a teacher because she has kids in the district too. So you can have multiple roles. That's totally fine. And if you don't have 2 or more, that's fine too. Okay. So what I'm going to do now is show you what it looks like on my side. Okay, and I probably can't hear it. My phone is going off because I'm going to show you the app in a minute. And every time I get somebody, oh, Stephanie Gray just said hi. Yeah, awesome. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and talk about messaging now. Okay, so there's 2 kinds of messaging. There's whole group messaging. So I'm going to send out basically an announcement to the entire group. And then there's individual messaging. And so I'm going to show you an example of both. So if you're watching your screen, I'm going to go ahead and send a message to everybody. There we go. Okay, so this is the message screen that pops up. And I want to go ahead and talk about how to send a message. So this is kind of the next big thing here. So you've added people, you're ready to start sending messages. Okay, what does it look like? So when you have your very first message, this pops up right here. It's just kind of their standard welcome message. You don't have to use it, but it's a great one to kind of start with. Super big benefit of having the district plan is that you have 600 characters. That doesn't sound like a lot, but the free plan only offers you 140. And that is really hard for a person like me that talks a lot. So this is actually a really great thing, okay? I'm gonna go sort of how to write a message and then all the things you can add to a message. And then I'm gonna send it out so you guys can see what it looks like. So right here is where you just type your message. So I'm just gonna keep typing. You can see like that, so I'm typed right there. Okay, and eventually when you get close to your character limit, it will give you a little warning. One of the best features, I think, is the translate feature. So let's say that I wanted to translate this into Spanish. So I'm gonna go ahead and hit translate. They have tons of languages, any language I think most of us would need. And then there is Spanish right there. and automatically translate in Spanish. Okay, so I can send that out to my Spanish families. I could write it in English and Spanish. I could send it out both. If a parent sends it to you in Spanish, you can translate it back to English. So that's a really great tool. Like, I'm not fluent in Spanish at all, so that's a really great tool for me to work with my Spanish-speaking families. So that's one great option there. I'm going to go ahead and go back to English. Okay. So down here, one great feature is the schedule feature. Okay, so the schedule feature is nice, especially if you want to do something like a morning message or something like that, or maybe at the end of the day. So you can schedule a message to go out whenever you want to. So in the springtime, what I did is I scheduled a morning message to go out basically every day, kind of like at 8:30, just kind of like a welcome to the day, good morning, a little wake up reminder for my kids. And so you click on this schedule, and then you can pick the day and the time. So you can do all of this the night before or even the day before, get everything ready to go, and then schedule it and just hit schedule, and then Remind will just push it out in the exact moment that you want to. So you don't have to be at your computer the exact time that you want to actually push things out. So that's a great option there. I'm going to go ahead and hit cancel. So over here, Remind is great about integrating all kinds of things. So you can upload a photo or a video. There are size limits, so you want to be careful. What I've been doing throughout the summer, like when our building sends out like an Instagram message or a post like with a picture in it, I've just been copying and pasting that post and sending it to parents and students. You can upload a file. There's the Box app, which I think is like a document holding kind of app. It links directly with Google Classroom, and you can see there's not a plus sign there because I've already added that link. So this will link directly to Google Classroom, to Google Drive, to Google Meet, so all the Googles. If you use OneDrive, the Sign Up app, Sign Up Genius, SurveyMonkey, and Zoom. That one's actually new. I just spotted that one the other day. So those are really great things to kind of play around with, and it creates a code, and then you actually can just push that out to everybody as well. So great integrations, really helpful to kind of have everything in one place. In the springtime, I was like going to Zoom, creating a code in Zoom, and then posting it here. And you can still totally do that. Kind of depends on what you want your workflow to be, but those options are there. So you can integrate any of that. Okay. So I don't want to add a picture or a file right now. I'm good. I just want to send a welcome message. So I'm going to go ahead and hit send, and you guys can see what it looks like for you. So when you get notified, sorry, StreamYard slows my computer down a little bit. There it goes. All right. So you should be receiving that announcement now. You also can see now that's basically kind of like in my texting stream kind of. Okay, so this is the class stream. So this is everything that I have sent out as an announcement, right? It says you will be able to see your message history here, and so can your administrator. So just keep that in mind. So with the district plan, and this is not a big deal, but administrators do have access to basically what we do, which is fine because it's all just school-based stuff anyway. But it's an open forum, so whoever's in the class can see it, and then our administrators can also see it. So kind of just keep that in the back of your mind. So then you can see that I sent this. And then what's cool is I can see that, oh, Miss Grady, always on it. She liked it, and then I just liked it as well. You also can do the little emoticons. So like kids will send back a smiley face, that kind of thing. I can click on this name right there, and it's going to show me how many people have read it, how many people have received it, and if there was any errors. So if you're like, I'm sending out these messages, I don't know if it's going anywhere, then you can see if people are getting it. So right now, I know that 4 people have already read it, right? So I know those people at least are seeing the message, can understand what's going on, and that will update throughout the day as you're doing it. These people have received it, but they have not read it yet. Okay, so you can check that to see how many people are getting it. And if there's any errors, you can maybe have like an error with their email or their phone number. People change phone numbers or whatever, that kind of thing. Okay, yep, so we got some more likes there. So that's great. if Miss Grady will indulge me, because I know she's on here live, I'm going to go ahead and message Miss Grady as a student. So let's say I don't want to send an announcement to the whole class. I just want to say, hey, Miss Grady, what's up? Or where's your homework? Or what's going on? Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and tap on her name specifically. And now I'm just with her, right? So now it just says Miss Grady, and she already said hi to me, so I knew she'd probably be okay with this, okay? And so this is our private, I should say in quotations, private, because all of this is saved and all of this is printable and accessible. So you want to make sure that all of your communication is sort of saved in Remind and can be accessed at any time. So just kind of, you know, little caution there, okay? So I'm gonna go say, hello, Stephanie. Share the first name. How are you? Oh, it's got spell check too, which is nice. I'll go send that to her. So only, okay, So right now, Miss Grady has some good boundaries around her and she is not in her class hours right now, okay? So I'm gonna go ahead and send this to her, but I shouldn't expect a response back because it's outside of her hours, okay? Outside of her office hours. And you can set these up too, we'll talk about that. But I'm gonna go ahead and send it to her. It's just gonna notify me that I may not receive a response because it's outside of her hours, okay? So I sent it, hello, how are you? I noticed that she read it. So if you're an iPhone user, right, so it kind of works like that. I know that she saw my message. So she can't get away with me not knowing that I actually saw her message, right? And now I can wait and see if she types me back, but it's out of her office hours, so I shouldn't expect a response. This message you guys as a teacher, yeah. So if you're like a teacher and a parent, it might be a little kind of different to work with at first, but kind of get used to it after a while, okay? And then we have the other messages here, right? So, you know, all these people here. So then at any time I can go back and basically text these people, okay? And see what I want to do. If I want to call her, okay, right up here, you can see this little phone call, this little thing right here. Now, the phone call has to be allowed by the parent, okay? So this is like if you want to call the parent, they have to basically say that's going to be okay on their end, and then it will call the number that is listed in Skyward, and it will call through the app there. So that is a brand new feature that I have never used because they literally just added it. So that's something that I'm going to still be experimenting with. So I might suggest maybe, you know, you like find another teacher to kind of do this with and try it out. But until Skyward is fully uploaded and you're sure the number is correct, you might want to just kind of experiment with that one a little bit because that is a great feature, but it's brand new to the district plan. So that's something we want to make sure that we're able to use correctly. So, okay, I'll call you. I'm going to call Stephanie. She's game. I have no idea if this is going to work. I'm just being completely honest with you. We'll see what happens. It's outside your office hours. Please send a message. So it won't let me call her outside her office hours. Okay. So if a parent puts in office hours or puts in restrictions, it's probably because she's a teacher. Then I can't call her. Okay. So that's totally fine. No big deal. Okay, so you can see everybody else is listed over here, and I can see each of the private conversations that I'm having with each of these people. Okay, everybody's there, perfect. And so what I like to do is like usually if somebody gets going, I like to say welcome. This is just an email right now, but if parents download the Remind app, yes, Remind app is coming, Rick, I'm getting there. Yep, absolutely. So that's what it looks like on a messaging. Okay. All right. Let's see if we missed anything. So I'm going to go back here. So we did join a class. We send a message. And now you guys can send me messages there too. Okay. So I think that's the basics in terms of how to add everything, right? So let me go through this one more time real fast. So over here are your classes. You can create a class. I would recommend that you wait till Skyward at least updates enough so you can see what's there before you go doing a bunch of extra work to create a new class. Once you create a class, you want to go to settings first. You want to make sure your settings are set for the age level and the comfort level you have with the app and the comfort level you have with people using it. Okay, then you're ready to add people. You can add people in those 4 different ways. Again, because it's linked to Skyward, you shouldn't have to do that step. They should already be there. But if you need to add extra people, then you have the PDF, you have the code, you have the link, you have all those different options there. Okay. And then once you get into a class, so like I can go ahead and click on my 3rd period class. You can see what I've been sending to them over the summer. Okay, so like I sent out this message from the district. So this picture came to me in our email, and I just copy and pasted that picture, and then I sent that to all of my kids just so they were in the know. Okay, so you can add pictures that way too. And then down here, and also you can see right here, there's a little red 5. That means I have 5 messages waiting. So 5 people have messaged me waiting for a response. Okay, all right. So a couple little extra things down here. If we go to right here, and then I click on this, your profile. Okay, so I'm gonna go. Yes.
I'm going to interrupt just for a second. So in the elementaries, the Lintott and Smith, you're going to see attendance and then your name, because that's the way your classes are set up in Skyward. So when you start seeing attendance, that has started being pushed out. So you should be able to see those classes showing up.
Yeah. And you can change the name. So if it comes through Skyward and you're like, it's like the weird Skyward code or whatever they put in there, just change it. Just change it to, Mr. Gillum's, class, whatever you want to do. So, so the name isn't stuck there just because it came from Skyward. You can change the name. So again, where I'm at, I wanted to talk about like my personal profile. So right here, it says good morning, and then Miss Fox, and my little picture there, my little Bitmoji. So I went into there, and I went into account settings, and you can change your picture. Just click on the actual picture, and then you can change that. You can change the name. You can change all your settings. I don't think it's going to show my password. Okay, good. You can change the role. You can change your organization. And then obviously you need to have the data that's going to be collected. That's just kind of basic there. Okay. Notification preferences. Okay. So this is really important. And there's my phone number, but if you want to call me, that's totally fine. Okay. So you have to decide how you want to be notified. Now, I'll be honest with you. I use this more on the app than I do on my actual Chromebook or my actual one. So on the app, what you want to do, there's a free app. It's called the Remind app. It has that little blue box with the brain. You download that, you sign in with Google, and it will link everything. And honestly, I send probably 90% of my messages and announcements from here. The only time I don't do that is when I need to do attach a bunch of files or attach a picture or do something like that. But 9 times out of 10, usually I'm just standing in line at Safeway, honestly, sending messages to parents, that kind of thing, right? Time management, okay? So you can list what you want, and then you can list how you want to receive those notifications, okay? And then app integrations are all of so right now I've connected these 2 things. I've personally connected Google Classroom and Google Meet. I haven't connected the other ones. I can go back and do that if I wanted to. Widgets. Okay, if you want to add any widgets, you can add those if you know what those are. If you don't know what those are, so you can add a widget basically to your website. Okay, so you would copy this code, and then you could put this on your website, and then your announcements would also show on your website. Okay, so you could do that if you wanted to, if you want to get there. And there's instructions. Click here for instructions. So if you're game to try that, you can try that. Message history. So again, if you need to get any history, you can export a PDF. So you can say, I want to have all my classes from this day to this day. So if there was like a disagreement or a conversation that you wanted to have to talk with anybody about, you can go back and download that whole conversation and print that out. All of my classes that I've archived over the years, you can restore them. So you can see these are all my previous classes, right, that I've archived over the years. Okay, so there we go. And then if you have to block anybody, I don't think I've had to block, well, maybe one person, but we won't worry about that. So those are all under good morning. and then Miss Fox name, and I went to my account settings. Okay. Right here is get help. Remind has awesome help and awesome videos. I learned the most just by watching. They're like 2 or 3 minute videos. They're super short, really easy to watch. And they kind of just focus on one thing at a time. Like if you just want to add people, you can just watch a video about how to add people. So that's really nice. How to get the Remind app. Again, guys, if you just have an iPhone or Android, you just go to whatever app store you have. It comes right up. And as soon as you log in, as long as you log in with your Google School account, it will link perfectly. And then you can do everything. You'll see the exact same things there. And then log out right there. Okay. So I think I'm done with my stuff. So questions and answers. If Robert wants to jump back into.
I can do that. So Stephanie had the question, and you may have answered it. I've been answering other questions and trying to find more Skyward, making sure the sync is all happening. So if Skyward sets up the classes, is there a way to merge the periods into one course instead of having like 4 different?
Okay, you can't merge them, but you can send the same announcement to multiple classes. So let me show you real fast, Steph. So let's say I want to send a message to my 3rd, 4th, 5th, all my algebra classes, okay? I want to type it once and send it 4 times. So I clicked on algebra 3rd period. Sorry, I should have shown you this. I missed this step. And I'm going to go ahead and click on send message. And right here, this says 3rd period. I'm going to just click in this box. And I can then select all the classes. So I want to send this to 7th period and 5th period and 4th period. Okay, so I can send it to all those classes and I'll hit continue. And then I will type the message once. It will send out the announcement or attachments to all 4 class periods. So you can't merge the classes unless you told one class to go then use this other code and like had everybody like move over. You could do that. I think that'd be a lot of extra work, but you can definitely send out a message to multiple class periods at the same time. So hopefully that will work instead.
So Stephanie, if you've got Algebra 1A and 1B showing up, can you archive B, because that's 2nd semester, and then reactivate that later? Yes.
That's something I'm waiting to see what comes across Skyward, because I don't know what it's going to look like yet. In the springtime, I have 6 periods a day, and I had 12 classes show up, 1 for each semester. So yes, you could definitely archive them and then bring them back. You could do that. If it didn't change that much, like my classes don't tend to change that much from semester to semester, it doesn't really matter too much. I mean, if I had a kid move from 2nd period to 3rd period, I'm not really sending different messages to those 2 class periods if it's the same class. So I didn't really bother with moving them around. It's just kind of your personal preference. So yes, you can archive them and bring them back from each semester, or you can just keep the whole, like semester A, the whole year, and just make changes as necessary. So it kind of depends on what your situation is. But.
Okay. We have another question. Cell phones for school main office?
I honestly, Nancy, I wish I could answer that question. I'm not sure.
What I'm understanding is because it syncs with Skyward, as a parent, if you're a parent and a teacher, your parent phone number that you have in Skyward will go. Otherwise, I believe it will default to the school. But because you're in Skyward and you have a home phone number or a cell phone number in there, that's what we'll see.
Yeah, I think it depends on if you're calling them or they're calling, kind of where you're at and how you have your settings set up. So as soon as I get, I will do some research on calls and see if I can find some more helpful things, and I will post those in the Remind training class on Remind, so I can push out all the information. So as I learn new stuff about that call feature, because that's brand new to the district, none of us have used it before, I will post that in the Remind training and we can figure that out together. Okay.
That'll be great, because while COVID's not necessarily our best friend, it has forced us to do to take a look at maybe where some holes might be, and one of them was the communication piece. And so being able to purchase this in Seesaw, these are all brand new, and they're, well, Stephanie's used, and many of you have used Remind for quite a while in the past, either as a teacher or even as a parent. Remind, the paid version for districts, is there's more features added. We don't know what it does. We've not worked with the syncing. Same thing true for Seesaw. There's been teachers that have used Seesaw at Lintot for a year or 2 to 3 years, and they know how to use it individually. But now Seesaw for Schools, because it's syncing, we don't know. And unfortunately, they just got done with cleaning up the data yesterday, and the syncs started happening, and we've already seen a couple of error messages come across that we're going to stop syncing because we're getting what I would term dirty data also. So they saw it again, and so they stopped it. So yeah, we're all learning at the same time. Guys are having a great conversation. I love it.
Yep. So Rick, I just want to address your question. I think the nice thing about Remind is this. In talking to parents and students, it's basically like texting a student and texting a parent. And in conversations with parents and students, I've found that their email fatigue is pretty high, and they tend to just ignore our emails. Right? So what Remind does is it basically sends them a text message, which is much more sort of, it's not really the best phrase, but kind of in their face. And I've gotten much better connections and much better follow through with parents actually responding to me and kids actually responding to me, because it comes up as a notification. They see it, they can text right back. They don't have to then go open their email and do an email and send an email and wait. So it basically is like texting, and most people are texters now. That's just kind of how they work now, right? And so I send much more Remind messages. Also, if I want to basically, so how I use it in a normal day, like a normal school day, at the end of every single day, I've done this straight for 2 years straight. That was one of my goals for myself. At the end of every day, I send an announcement out to all my parents and students. Here's what we learned today. Here's your homework. And now I know that every single day, every parent and every student has received the same message. And I can just do that really quick from my phone, send it, got it. And so it's just really more sort of meeting the parents and students where they are. Email is great, and I use email all the time for larger issues, right? Remind is great for those reminders. Hey, there's a field trip tomorrow. Hey, this is due tomorrow. Hey, this is happening today. We did this today. Your kid did great today. Like, you want to just give a quick message, and you don't want to spend all your time emailing or calling. Calls are great too. I call parents all the time, but again, that's for probably a longer conversation or a more in-depth conversation. So email, calls, longer in-depth conversations, Remind, quick things. And especially my age group, 8th grade, they love it because it feels like they're just texting. And so I used it all the time through distance learning in the spring to help kids with math. It was amazing during Zoom. If people were having Zoom issues and they couldn't get connected, they would text me on Remind, and I would walk them through it. So it's just a great way for me to like have that instant communication, because sometimes email doesn't come through right away, or kids don't know how to email right away. But most kids know how to send a text. So, yeah.
So, and there's 2 things that I want to add to that. As a coach, I was able to send information out immediately, and so it's real time.
Yeah.
And so that's, as a teacher, I can see that being very important, especially where we are now in having to do distance. If the parents are working, and I'm thinking more middle school, high school, parents are the students are at home, and you just hear the frustration, or you see there's a struggle and whatever, you can send immediately to the parents, hey, your student's struggling with this, just frustrated, ready to blow a cork or whatever. You have that instant connection with the parents. The other thing that it does, which is extremely huge, and I'm wearing my district and security hat, you're not using your personal phone number. And I know that a lot of teachers have, hey, just give me a text, here's my number. That's all good. It's all nice, friendly, feel good, unicorns and fluffy clouds and that. But if there is a records request, because you have texted a parent and or student using your personal phone is now, all of that information is now part of the records request. So I have highly recommended that teachers not send out any type of notification using their personal number. And so what this does is it masks your number. It doesn't even tie to your number. You have the Remind app on your phone, so you can use the Remind app. They don't know that it's coming from your cell phone or from the computer. And so it keeps everything, keeps your safety in mind so that you don't have to, if that ever came about, you'd have to turn over your cell phone to the records request. We definitely don't want that. Yeah. So this is what is security, safety for everyone.
Yeah, it's definitely built in for teachers. I mean, it's built for teachers, and so they've really spent a lot of time adding in those layers of security for us and the parents and the students. Sort of one best practice I would just say for your own mental health is I would 100% set office hours. It's really easy because it is on your phone and it is like a text message to want to feel like you always have to respond. And so I have office hours on my phone. It doesn't mean you cannot respond outside of office hours, but I just make it really clear to my kids that if it's outside office hours, there's no guarantee. I will get back to you in the morning 100%. But I think it's just really great to kind of set those boundaries because it is a text message. A lot of people tell me that they kind of feel like they need to respond right away. And so it's kind of good to kind of set those boundaries for yourself, especially as we're moving into distance learning where it's going to kind of be a little chaotic in the beginning, to kind of get everything settled. So it's okay to say, office hours are here to here, and I'm not going to be able to contact you back until the next day. So that's definitely a personal setting that I would set for myself before you started adding people too.
Good advice.
And
mental health
question.
Mental health for our teachers are important.
Yeah.
So any other lingering questions?
So I'm going to leave the Remind training class open. And if anybody else watches this video and gets this far, you can still get added and you'll be added right there. And I can respond to any. So I have 6 messages waiting. So I will respond to those as soon as I'm done here. But I'll keep that open all year. So if you're like, something's happening, you're like, I don't know how to do this, just send me a Remind message and we can work through it together and we'll figure it out, or I can ask Robert or we'll figure it out together. So that Remind training class will be open all year on Remind. You can stay joined or you can leave the group. It's totally up to you. I will leave it open for the whole year.
Yeah. And Stephanie, could you remind me, what was the assignment that we were going to give them?
Okay, yes. So the assignment is you need to go create a class, right? So Skyward will create one for you, obviously, but you just need to go create a test class. And then Robert, because he's an admin, will be able to actually go in and see that you did that. Okay, so I'm going to walk you through it real fast one more time. It doesn't have to be anything fancy. You just hit create a class. If you want to do it right now, get your clock hour. Hit create a class, give it a name, give it a code, hit create. Okay. If you can convince one of your fellow teachers to join your class, then you can try sending a message. And then Robert will be able to see that on his end and be able to award your clock hour. So that's all you need to do is create a class. Maybe like have your kid join if you have a kid, or have your husband join, your wife join, or whoever, or have another teacher join, and then try sending a message, and then you're good. And you don't have to do anything else because Robert will be able to see that. So, and after he will, I think Robert, you said that you were going to You want them to email you when they've done that so you know to go check. Is that correct?
That would be great.
Yeah. So once you're ready for him to go check for your clock hour class, email him so he knows to go check it, because he has access to all the teachers. So he wants to make sure he has the right one. And then he will do it on that end. And then you can archive it. So like, get rid of it. So like once he's actually seen it and knows that it's there, then he can archive it. Carrie, paid version. Robert, can we ask Casey this? I'm not sure of the limits with the district plan. I don't think there is one, but.
Yeah, I'm looking that up in their help.
Because I know Carrie needs it. She works hard with those years.
Yeah, I'll need to look into it. They're showing, just for the Remind, I'm going to have to go into the Remind for schools to check, but 100 is the number for the free version. So we'll need to look at that.
I would assume that the paid version would include more, but
I would assume so.
You never know. So
yeah.
Awesome. Anything else? Any other questions, guys? We got 5 minutes left, I think.
Looks like we're good. So we can actually start the transition over to Colette. So let me pull this one out of here.
Thanks, everybody.
Thanks, Stephanie. Really appreciate it. I learned a lot. I also learned who to contact. So we're getting ready for the Explore Seesaw for Schools. And so, Colette, do you want to go ahead and let's hook up your screen? And so you'll need to share. Thanks, everyone, for your patience in our transition here. Denise, Lintott's the only building using Seesaw, so that is correct. So
is there anything more I need to be doing, Robert?
Share screen, and then we'll get your. Do you have your slide deck? You have a slide deck, right? You didn't. No, that's right. We were doing the videos. Got it. Yeah, got all those. Is there any? But were you going to share your screen to show them?
I can do that. My Seesaw screen.
Yeah. So go ahead. Yeah.
Okay, so this is, oh, come on back. So I'm just going to be looking at my Seesaw screen, right? Not my talking head. Or do I need to choose a different format?
Colette, let's can I get you to restart your computer, because it's like a very bad foreign movie. The mouth moves, and then you wait, and then the words come later. So
okay, I can do that. Or do you want me to? Do you want me to just switch computers? Would it be better if I switch computers? I've got another one right here.
Let's try switching. Let's see what happens.
All right, here I go. I'm logging into StreamYard.
Okay.
It's going to ask me for a code, though, on this one from you.
Okay.
Sorry.
No, you're good. I just sent it in the message on the one that you're able to see.
Oh.
The
Private chat.
The private message that way.
Got it?
Yep.
Alrighty. Moving this one.
So while she's getting set up, welcome everyone for Exploring Seesaw. We'll see if this resolves one of our connection issues. And so if everyone says hello in the chat, that would be great. Again, this is being recorded, and you'll be able to come back to it multiple times. We're fortunate to have somebody with as extensive of knowledge in this as we do. And so, Colette, I'm going to go ahead and remove the old one. We'll put the new one up.
Okay, thank you.
Now I think yeah.
Good?
Yeah, I think so. Oh, yeah.
Okay.
The voice matches the lips.
Hey, awesome.
Awesome.
All right. Shout out to my Lintalk crew. Here we go. Do you want to do intros, Robert, or do you want me to?
Yeah, so
right
I'm going to go ahead and put the classroom code up for Google Classroom. As in case we need to do any announcements or anything through that, we'll go ahead and still have that. There'll be an assignment at the end that will actually be done through Seesaw, and then that way we'll be able to work on getting the clock hours for you. I would recommend having a split screen. So like you see where I am, if you have one of your windows or tabs where I am, and then the other one where I am, this is totally opposite. So I'm really trying to think backwards. Where I am, and then where Colette is would be the other, so that you can watch the video in one side and actually do something in Seesaw on the other side, so you're not having to go back and forth between screens. Might be a little bit easier. So let me turn this off now and turn that off. Morning, everyone. I love it. I love it. So Colette, do you want to start taking us through what we're
Sure.
seeing, what we're doing today?
Yes. Good morning, everybody. I'm Colette Prigmore. If I haven't met you, hello. I'm a kindergarten teacher over here at Lintot Elementary, and I've been a Seesaw ambassador for the last 6 years. And then this spring, they made me a Seesaw certified teacher. So it was a deeper dive into Seesaw this spring. So that has been really great for where we're headed now at Lintot with Seesaw. I sent out the video that we're about to watch to the Lintot staff, just as kind of a precursor to what we're about to do today. But it's a quick start, and the feedback that I got from staff was mostly the quick start was too quick. So we're going to go slow today, and we're going to walk through the video. Robert has graciously edited the video so that when it says pause, we'll have a 3-minute pause where we can actually do in our Seesaw for Schools account what the narrator is asking us to do. So it's an interactive opportunity. Also, we'll be able to see questions in the comments feed. So if you get stuck, just give us a shout and Robert and I will answer those questions. And our clock hour opportunity is an activity that we'll share the link for in the comments when we get closer to the end of our hour. But also, my Seesaw for Schools friends here at Lintot, your accounts are ready to go. And I'll talk about how to get into those if you're not there already. And you just will be going into our school directory in the activities tab where I have shared your clock hour activity that you'll complete. So it kind of takes you through in a more detailed way the tools that Seesaw offers. So are we ready to get going? Did I cover everything, Robert?
Yeah, the one thing just for the Seesaw housekeeping piece is that while the video is playing, Colette and I will be backstage and we'll be able to answer any questions through that. We can't, if we stop the video and it's a 4-minute video and we're at 3 minutes and we stop it there, there's no way that we can pause it. So it then starts all over again. So we'll use everything through the chat. Same thing true for the timer. But after, so Colette, we'll watch the video and it's going to say pause. Do we want to go straight to the timer or do you want to do a little Q&A at that point and then go to the timer and then Q&A after again?
I think they're going to need a little pause before the Q&A.
Okay.
Maybe.
Well, I mean, so we're going to watch the video. Do you want me to go directly into the 3 minutes? Or do you want to say something before we start the 3 minutes?
Sure.
Okay. We'll wing it.
We'll try it. Can we try the first one and see how we do? And then
sure.
We can tweak it as we go.
Hey, once again, thanks everyone for being patient with us. We're learning. This is a learning year for everyone. So, alrighty, so we're ready for first part, right?
Yes.
Okay, here we go.
Welcome to Seesaw. This video is designed to help Seesaw for Schools teachers get up and running with Seesaw. While watching, have another window or device ready to follow along with the steps. Seesaw creates a powerful learning loop that brings together teachers, students, and families to deepen student learning. In this training, you will set up your Seesaw for Schools teacher account and learn to use essential Seesaw tools. Let's get started. First, set up your Seesaw for Schools account. If you're brand new to Seesaw, your administrator will create your account for you. All you need to do is activate your account by following the link that was emailed to you. The email looks like this. If you already use Seesaw, there's an important detail you need to check. Make sure your current account is linked to your school email address. Doing this makes it so much easier for your administrator to merge your account and make sure that you don't lose any of that amazing student work. To check your email address, click on the profile icon on the top left of your screen. Click the gear, then click Account Settings. You'll be able to see the email address associated with your account here. To change it, click on your email address. Type in your school email address and click Update Email. Great, you're all set. Pause the video now and either activate your account or make sure your email address is your school email.
All right. So for our Seesaw for Schools friends here at Lintot, literally an hour ago, we had access. And so if you go up into your Seesaw account and you click on the profile in the top left corner, you'll be able to see your class for this year that Seesaw for Schools has already populated with your students. It's named something like ATT 100 something something. Everybody has a different number. And if you click on that, you can see that all of your students that are in Skyward have been moved into your Seesaw for Schools account. Anyone that's new to Skyward would have received an email, Robert, but most of our teachers are not. Most of them had pre-existing accounts. And we'll have more questions, I think, about how we'll merge previously created accounts. But right now we can be working in the ATT. Mine says ATT 100/404.
Right.
So,
that is the Skyward. That is what has been set up in Skyward. Is there a way to change that name if you want?
Well, I was going to ask you that. I would like to change it, as would I think all of my colleagues, but I didn't know if it needed to stay the same for housekeeping purposes or.
If there's a way that you can change it to Seesaw, you know what? We should probably check. We'll check their support to make sure.
Okay.
That changing the name is. I know in Remind you can change the name and it still links it. So as Skyward does an update, students come in, students come out, new class. It still syncs fine. I'm assuming it will in Seesaw, but we should probably find that out.
All righty. So everybody, give us a shout in the comments if you're not seeing what we're talking about. Otherwise, we can move forward with the next segment in the video. And it's going to talk about the journal tab, which is, can I click on that, Robert? My head will go away, but I'll click on it.
You're not sharing your screen.
Not sharing my screen. Okay, hang on. Slow but sure. Here we go. So close that. And I'll click. I need to be in this. Okay.
So in the StreamYard, click on the share screen and they should get some options. And I would choose the application window when you click on the share screen.
I did it. It's not
showing?
Well, it did, but it wasn't working. I chose application.
Yeah, I didn't see it. I didn't see it appear here.
Okay. Well, I'll talk our way through it.
There's a share button also after you choose. There's a share down at the bottom right once you choose the.
It's not allowing me to do it. My Chrome is having issues on this computer.
Yeah.
Okay. At any rate, we're going to be talking about the journal tab next, which is on the the right-hand portion of your screen. Most of you, I think, know about it, but she's going to be talking about what to do with that and what you'll see. So we'll go ahead and start the next segment. If we don't have any questions in the comments, we're going to keep trucking right along. So go ahead, Robert, and start the next segment.
All righty, here's number 2.
That's it. Your administrator will handle the rest. Get everything you need to get students started on Seesaw, including lesson plans, handouts, and more, in our Get Students Started kit. Follow this link to access the kit. Now that you're all set up, let's take a look at the essential parts of Seesaw. Feel free to refer back to this video as you explore in the coming days and weeks. When your students start to add to their journal, you can view their work in a few ways. First is the Journal tab. It looks like this. You can find it here. This is where you'll find all posts by all students in the order they're posted. You can toggle between the journal view and the calendar view up here. Click on the calendar icon if you want to view posts from a specific date. You can also view work by an individual student by clicking on a student's name over here. Pause the video now to practice viewing work in multiple ways.
Okay. So you should have seen in your Seesaw for Schools account the journal tab on the right-hand side there. You'll also notice that just below that is a sample student, and that's who you are. You are the sample student, and so sample student is who you use when you are wanting to assign an activity, but you haven't tried it out yet and you want to see what the kids will see. So we're going to be working with our clock hour assignment today. We'll be choosing the sample student to submit that work, and you'll be able to see what the kids see from their end of things. How are we doing? Any questions? We're okay, no questions? Everybody's good? Okay. The next segment, we're going to talk about how to add activities to the students to the activity library. And the nice thing about this is we have a school shared library where we'll be able to contribute activities and share those with our grade level and our school as a whole. So it's searchable. We can organize it according to content area in different ways. So that's very exciting, and there's a lot out there. So we're going to baby step our way into this because I don't want to overwhelm you. So Robert, we can start that next segment, and they'll see how students add things to the journal.
The easiest way for students to get started is by clicking the green Add button. You can find it up here. When students click the green Add button, they have access to all these amazing learning tools. They can take a picture, make a drawing, record a video, upload a file, write a note, or attach a link. Here are a few examples. With the photo and microphone tools, even our littlest learners can share themselves reading aloud like this.
I love cupcakes. What do you like?
Even our shyest readers get excited, and families love hearing their children improving with each read. With the drawing tool, students can show the reasons behind their thinking, becoming more independent and self-directed learners by doing so. Seesaw tools give you quick and easy ways to enhance and supplement what you're already doing to keep students interested, inquisitive, and inspired. Now, choose one learning tool. Think of one way your students could use it. Pause the video now and write down your idea.
All right, so we're going to have an opportunity to work in the activity library. So you can write down ideas, but it'll make more sense in context once we get to the end of the videos, and we'll work with the assignment for clock hours. Our next portion of the video, do we have any questions? No questions?
So far, I don't see any.
Okay, we're forging ahead. The next portion of the video, the next segment, will be responding to an activity in the activities tab, and that's from the teacher perspective. So you'll be able to approve, and the narrator will go through all the different things that you can do. But like I said, it's going to make more sense once you go in as the sample student at the end today. So let's go ahead and start that. Robert, if nobody has any questions.
Let's see, questions. No, just this one.
I love you too. Shout out to my distance learning team.
Okay, so we're number 4. We're on number 4, right? Yes. All right, here we go.
Okay.
The second way students can add to their journal is by responding to an activity. When you assign an activity to students, we'll cover that in just a minute. It'll appear in the Activities tab. The Activities tab looks like this. You can find it here. To respond to an activity, students simply click the Add Response button. It looks like this. You can find it here. Students have access to all the same great learning tools. Pause the video now and check out the Activities tab.
This might be a great time for you to go into your activities library. Go ahead and click on that tab that has the light bulb up above it on the right-hand side. And you'll want to click on the left-hand side, it says Browse Activity Library. And my Seesaw veterans, it's going to look a little different because we have 3 tabs at the top now. We have the Community tab, the School and District tab, which is new, and then our My Library tab. So if you go into the School and District tab, you should see a little assignment I sent out to everyone. So take a minute. If I don't see any comments or questions or anything, we're just going to keep trucking right along. Okay. Everybody doing okay? All good? Okay.
So do we still want to give them a couple more minutes?
I'll give them a minute.
I have a 30-second countdown if you want, but
well, really quickly, if you haven't clicked the heart, there's a heart in the top right of the activity I put down there. This activity was created by Chris Zajner. I think that's how you say his name. And it's called Getting Familiar with Seesaw. If you click the heart, then it puts this activity into your activity library. All good? Okay, Robert, they're rock stars.
okay, so we're going to
Let's go to the next segment.
5.
Okay.
There are tons of free activities ready for you to assign your students. Here's how. Click the green Add button, then Assign Activity. You'll get taken to My Library. Access activities from your school or district by clicking the School and District tab, or access free activities from our community by clicking the Community tab. You can filter by grade level, by subject, search by keyword, or browse activities to find ones perfect for your class. When you find an activity you like, click the heart icon to save it to My Library. You can even customize any part of an activity to meet your class's unique needs. Simply click on the 3 dots, then copy and edit activity. To assign an activity, click Assign. It looks like this, and you'll find it up here. Choose the class or classes you want to assign it to, and click Assign again. You'll get this confirmation screen, and your activity will show in your Activities tab. You can see which students have completed the activity by clicking on the gray bar here. When a student adds a response, you will see their response above their name. Pause the video now, find an activity in the library, and save it.
Okay, so we will be assigning that to ourselves basically today. So if you've clicked the heart on that activity that we saw there in the School and District tab, then it's in your library and you'll just be assigning it to yourself, and I'll talk more about that once we get toward the end. So you're not assigning it to your whole class, basically. You want to try it out first. So we'll only assign it to ourselves to experiment. Let's see, no questions?
No.
Everybody's all good. Okay. So the next segment is approving student posts. So after you have assigned something to the students and they've responded and submitted that assignment, then you'll get to look at their assignments and approve them or send them back. So this next segment is going to talk about that. and we can just jump right in.
Keep in mind that all student posts are approved by you, the teacher, before they're added to the class journal. Here's how the approval flow works. When students submit a post, you will see a red bar on the bottom of your screen. Click Review. You will see all posts that need approval. You can click on a post to view it, then decide if you want to approve, send back, or delete it. Pause the video now. If students have already started posting, approve their posts. If not, remember you can always refer back to this video later.
Okay, so that will make sense to the teachers that use Seesaw this last spring to assign assignments to their classes. If you did not use Seesaw to assign assignments, we're going to be working with our teams more to talk about that more in depth in our trainings coming up. But today you'll be just assigning something to yourself. And then you won't have the option as the sample student to approve it just because it knows that you are the sample student. But I will say one workaround that I did this last spring was I added my husband as a student, Robert, and then I would ask him to complete assignments. I don't know if we can still do that with Seesaw for Schools, but yeah, that was one way I could tell, or I could see what the students were seeing as well, beyond the sample student view. So, any questions?
Excuse me. So remember, you have the QR codes. You will have the QR codes for everybody, all of your students.
Okay.
So you could use the QR codes, grab a Chromebook, use the QR codes, go in as the student or a student that you're questioning about, and see what they're seeing also.
Ooh, okay, that's an exciting thing as well, because that was half the battle this spring, I will say, was being able to understand and see what they're seeing to help them troubleshoot. So, all right, and does that bring us to the end of our segments, Robert? I think
we have one more.
One more. Okay.
Yep.
So this is the end of the video, I believe.
Yep.
It'll talk about where to find resources, and then after that is done, we'll talk about how to access the activity. And hopefully you, Robert, because are you approving the clock hours? Or is Tricia doing that?
Tricia is. I'm the moderator. I'm the go-to.
Okay. So we'll talk more about how she will be able to see that they've completed that assignment. But would you like people to email you once they've finished it, or how would you like to confirm so that she knows who she needs to look at?
Yeah, you can email me and let me know you finished. I'll put them all into my assignments folders. It may take me a couple weeks to get everything with all the trainings that we've had. There's a lot of approvals that I need to go through. So it may take me a couple weeks to get through that, but yes, email me, let me know that you completed it, and I'll share that with Tricia. Okay.
So everybody watching, please shoot Robert an email once you've gone through the assignment that we're going to do here in a little bit, and then he will be able to make sure that you get your clock hours. Okay. Do you want to open it up for Q&A?
Do you want number 7?
Oh, sorry. Yes.
Okay, here we go.
You did it! You mastered the Seesaw basics. Your students are going to be so excited to share their learning on Seesaw. With these skills, there's so much you can do in Seesaw. There's also so much more we'd love to show you. We offer free training throughout the year, and we'd love for you to join us. You can register at web.seesaw.me/training. Thanks again for spending this time with us. See you again soon here at Seesaw.
All right. And that's out there on YouTube for everybody. So if on the district website, right, Robert? Yeah.
Yep.
So that video, if you want to go back and rewatch, you can, and go super slow and take your time. So we're opening it up to any questions right now, any clarifications? Anybody?
So I do have one question.
Yes.
Specialists.
Yes.
They're not going to have a class come through through Skyward.
Right.
So how do specialists create their class?
That's a great question. Before, my experience was with just Seesaw Plus. We did all our class creation manually. And then from there, specialists could be added as co-teachers. But then they also should have the option to create their own class. And how we want to manage that, we can talk more about those ins and outs later. But from what I understand for Seesaw for Schools, specialists should be able to create their own class at the very least. And then if they want to be added as co-teachers later, and this goes for SPED as well, if they want to be added as co-teachers later on, then the classroom teachers can do that. But I don't know enough about that capability from, I don't know how that works from the administrative end, I guess.
Okay.
So I know that they're not going to have students populated in their classes, but maybe they set up their class and then we'll go from there.
Okay.
Does that answer the question? Partially, at least?
Sure.
Okay.
It tells me that one.
I mostly know things from the teacher end of things. So if I'm not creating a class manually and someone else is doing it for me, I guess at things. So right. It's all new to me for Seesaw for Schools, pretty much from that end.
So I was just going to say, if there's any specialists that are watching, if you want to put in the chat your suggestions or your questions about what we can do, what you can do, what can be done. The easy answer is we'll get back with you because it might be a Seesaw question. It might be a building administrator. How do we want to do this best for everyone? And maybe some of the specialists, maybe they want the teachers just to share, be a co-teacher. So if I become a co-teacher, share that with you, can I remove you at some point in time?
Yeah. So co-teachers have all the permissions that the teacher does. And so that's why it's tricky for the specialists, because if they're a co-teacher in all of the classes that say they have a SPED student in, then they're going to get all the notifications. They're going to need to, they have the ability to approve assignments. So it becomes sort of an organizational piece there, because we don't want to overwhelm them with thousands of notifications. But I have heard that one way to circumvent that would be they have their own class, but then they have folders in the classrooms. And this might be something that we do within the school activity library, where they have a folder and say it's the K SPED folder or the kindergarten music folder. And then the music teachers are putting in the activities either in the classroom folder or in the school directory folder, where classroom teachers will go in and get what they need for those students. So there are some different workarounds, but what works for us yet, I'm not quite sure. That'll be one thing we talk about. I'm hoping to group the specialists, PE, music, library, and SPED together in a group when we do our trainings on Tuesday and Wednesday.
What about like reading specialists, math specialists, math groups, reading groups?
Right. It depends. Again, it's the same deal. If they're a co-teacher, they're going to have access to approve assignments. And then they get all the notifications right along with it. So it's a double-edged sword, really.
Is there a way as a teacher, I know I've got 3 students that are lower and I've got one that's higher, I know in Google Classroom I can differentiate by creating an assignment, a task, and only choosing those students, and then they become they receive that assignment. Same thing, I'm assuming.
Correct. Yeah, same capability in Seesaw, and we'll kind of get a glimpse of that when we do the sample students. So you'll see what it looks like just to choose one student rather than the whole class. In the spring, I didn't differentiate a whole lot with my class when I was assigning assignments. It was just the whole shebang. Everybody got everything. But later on, I had a student who finally, I think it was in May, that logged on and wanted to do everything he had missed. And so I kind of reassigned bits and pieces to that individual student. So it is possible.
Okay, good.
No comments, no questions, anybody?
There was another question that I had.
Okay, go, Robert.
Yeah, but I'm just trying to remember what it was now.
Okay.
Differentiating. Oh, notifications. So notifications to parents. There's a way to send notifications to the parents that, hey, here's the field trip is coming up. Don't forget to sign this form.
Yes.
Things like that, right?
Correct. Yes, in family announcements. And primarily, I think most of my Seesaw veterans use Seesaw for messaging with families initially. So they're pretty familiar with that. You can attach things to announcements. Anything that I didn't want in my student's journal, if I didn't want it to live in there, I would send it through family announcements. And our distance learning team has been talking about when we give families a week at a glance for distance learning in the fall, that will go through family announcements rather than through the student feed for assignments. So different things like that.
So with the notification, do the parents get email or is it text? I'm thinking from the teacher that's never been in Seesaw before.
It looks like a text.
Okay.
Yeah, it operates like a text as well. Parents, once they reply back to you, it's all private. So if you're sending out a group message and they respond back, it's all private. That's a question that's come up quite often from parents anyway. They want to make sure it's not going to the group. Parents have sent me screenshots through the messages. Mostly texting though. And there is the translation tool. So if you have bilingual families in your class, it's seamless. It translates back and forth. There's a little link in the bottom right underneath of the message that you receive that you can click See Translation and it will translate it for you.
Okay. And Joanne did say that she was reading a lot about Seesaw, the music teacher.
Yay, Joanne.
And did not want to be co-teacher because they would get the notifications from every classroom. So thank you, Joanne. That's perfect because how I would probably suggest would be somehow having them be able to create their own, the specialists be able to create their own so that they're not co-teaching.
Yeah, and I think, we can get fancy later on if we want to, but I've been trying to protect my colleagues from being overwhelmed. And so if we start there and they have their own class and they have a folder or something like that available to the staff to choose their work out of for the students, then that would be ideal to start.
Suggestion, maybe we could share specialists by email so they aren't overwhelmed by every assignment.
Yeah, there are different ways we could do it, Cheryl. I think, we'll start just with the classes, each specialist has their own class, and then we'll use folders to start, and then branch off from there. So I think that's how we'll do it. I've read on either side of, some comments on Facebook groups have been, yes, go for it. They need to be able to see what's inside my classroom, so include them as a co-teacher. And then on the flip side, people have said, no, it's so overwhelming. You get so many notifications that it's ridiculous and too hard to manage. So we'll figure it out as we go, but slowly.
It's a learning curve for everybody this year. This whole year is going to be,
yeah, even me. I'm learning a lot. Just in this last hour, I've been all over my Seesaw for Schools, so it's been educational.
well, and I just realized I have a different view than the teacher.
Yes.
I can see the students, I can see the classes, and then apparently there are some teachers that I need to go through, and they aren't approved, and I'm not sure how they're not approved. You being one of them in one of the classes, so I don't know. You and I'll talk offline, but
right, we'll see if you can
see that's a new class or what. But
yeah. Joy is asking if we can ask Seesaw if we can have a class for the teachers beyond the Gen Ed classroom. And I think that is Robert and Casey may have to talk about how that looks. But that can happen from your end, I believe, Robert, right? If we want a class for OT and PT and SPED and speech and all of it, you guys can take care of it. Right?
You were looped into that too. Yes.
I'm pretty sure you can.
Yeah, you are definitely a major component.
Okay. Well, I will be the voice of the staff for sure. So we'll be talking more about that, Joy. But like I told my distance learning team, we're going to divide and conquer. And we'll be breaking into our grade level teams, and then I will be working with our specialists to talk about how that will look for them.
So we still have 18 minutes left.
Okay. Do we want to do the activity?
Yeah.
Okay. So, Seesaw friends, here we go. We're going to go into our activity library. You'll remember that's the tab with the, it's on the right-hand side of your screen. It's got the light bulb above it. And you're going to go then to the middle of your screen where it says Browse Activity Library. And you're clicking on either My Library if you chose the heart for what I sent out to you. And you can find that assignment that I sent there. Or if you didn't choose the heart yet, you're going to go to the School and District tab. And you're going to choose the heart. And then that's going to send that assignment to your activity library. And you should be able to go back in and see it. Once you have the heart filled in, it's pink, then you're going to click Assign. Assign on the activity itself. You click on the activity, the little box picture of the activity. You're going to click Assign. It's a green button. And you're going to choose your class, your ATT 100 blah, blah, blah number. And you're not going to choose the checkbox. There's a checkbox on the left. You're not going to choose that. You're going to click next to it where it says Edit Students, Folders, and Skills. And this is where we assign just to one, and you're the sample student. So you're going to click that. And you'll see that all of your students are selected with a green checkbox next to them. We don't want them all to have it, so we're going to click right next to where your class is up at the top. Mine has an A-. I hope that's not a comment on the work I've been doing. I mean, it's okay, I guess. But you're going to click the box there next to it to deselect all of the students. And then you're going to go down to sample student. That's you. And you're going to click the checkbox next to sample student. Then you're going up to the right-hand corner of this box, and you're going to click the green check, the green circle check. And then it will say in another screen, assign activity, and you're going to go down to the green button where it says assign to one class. It's really just one student. And you're just going to click that there. And you'll see with the green check next to your class, the ATT 100 deal, it will say how many students have been assigned that assignment, and mine says one student. So I'm going to click assign to one class. And then it gives you the screen where it says activity assigned. And the step 1, step 2, you're going to click down here at the bottom of that where it says view activity in your ATT class. So you can see your assignment there now as the sample student. We're going to click add response. And if I don't see any comments saying, stop, go slow, Colette, we're way far behind, I'm just going to keep trekking right along. So, all right, I'm going to keep going. We're going to click add response. And you're choosing sample student again. It says select student. And you should see the assignment getting familiar with Seesaw. And then there's a button at the top that says view instructions. You can click that to see what exactly you're supposed to do. But on each slide of this assignment or this activity, you have a little video, and he kind of talks you through what to do. And the reason I chose this particular activity is I thought this might be good to share with families. So be thinking about how this might work for conferences maybe. I know that first and second grade, you will be having groups of 5 parents and students in your room at a time. So I'm not sure how you would present this or how that they would do it themselves, but it would walk them through the tools in Seesaw. So you can click on the video in the center of the slide. He talks through what you should do, and then he'll ask you to use the tools at the bottom of the screen, the pen, the pencil, the eraser, the glow pen. And then there are tools on the left-hand side of the screen, the text box, the microphone, the camera, and then the 3 dots. So let's see, there are 19 slides total. And this is what you'll complete when you're all done. You'll click the green check. So once you've gone through each slide, you'll click the green check in the top right corner, and then that will show in the student feed of your class. It won't ask for approval because it's the sample student, whereas if you were a student submitting this assignment, it would ask for teacher approval. How are we doing, gang?
Looks like everyone's on task. Just another question from Joy about
Specialists.
Yeah, getting
Yeah.
students in more than one class.
Yeah, we can share students. I do know that.
Okay.
That is a capability. The good news about that too, Robert, will be down the road as we phase back in if we need to move students or change classes, things like that, their journal follows them. So the work that they did in one class will follow them from there to their new class, should that need arise. So we have a moment for more Q&A, everybody. Questions? Any comments on how different Seesaw for Schools looks versus, touchscreen. Casey told me, Joy, that our Chromebooks are not going to be touchscreen. I don't know if that's changed, Robert, has it?
I don't believe that they will be touchscreen.
Okay. The touchscreen Chromebooks exist in our district. They're just elsewhere at this time. Is that right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
I believe that it was a very late decision, and so he just needed to get what he could get right now.
Sure.
So.
So that's one thing we have to consider as we're assigning assignments is what will work if students are using Chromebook and they don't have a touch screen. Are they going to be able to use the touchpad? Kindergartners have trouble. They don't always have the dexterity to complete certain things. So as we look at assignments and different things, then we can see how they work. Can they use a stylus on the Chromebooks, Robert? Do you know if they have a touchscreen Chromebook?
We've not tried that, because typically they're right now, I think they're in 5th grade. Maybe one part is 4th grade. So they haven't, I don't think they've tried that. I will try that though. That's a good question.
Okay.
You're taking care of that.
Maria's asking, Maria, my students that use the mouse on their home computer to complete like a touchscreen assignment, it was really hard for them. It was a little bit easier for them to use the touchpad, but still not as good as it would look on an iPad. But yeah, how will they write? They'll have to use the text tool where they type in a text box, or they'll use the touchpad on the Chromebook as best they can. So yeah, we're gonna have to talk about that. I answered all the questions there.
The stylus does work.
Oh, the stylus, he's trying the stylus. Robert, we're wondering too, for the, we have Robert scheduled to come to Lynn Tot to talk about the student Chromebooks. So maybe Robert, we could have what we're getting and then maybe a touch screen one to compare. Is that asking too much? So that we can see maybe down the road if we can change things around a little bit.
Okay, Casey just said that admins are supposed to give them a list of students that need touchscreens.
And we all of us want touchscreens. So I kind of told Casey this, I think it was probably last week. I was like,
I can see kindergarten, 1st grade, that definitely needs to me, would need to be touchscreen, just because of they don't have the keyboarding skills or the mouse skills down.
No.
So if they're trying to learn how to, they're taking their stylus and going over their pen and going over what an A, the A or the B as they're learning the letters.
Right.
So as long as admin gets him the information, he'll start ordering. But because it was such a late decision, he's just trying to get Chromebooks in the hands so that every student has something. They can be replaced at some point in time.
Okay, so that would be something we'll table for later on, Robert. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. We know we need touch screens.
I'm with you.
I think probably as we go, you can correct me, Robert, if I'm wrong, but then at some point we'll ask families to swap them out so that at least when we start in conferences, they have some device that they can submit work on. Okay. We don't know where the touchscreen Chromebooks are. They're scattered throughout.
Yeah, they're already assigned to classrooms.
Oh, okay.
They're already utilizing them. So yeah, we can't
Okay.
pull them from them. So it would be that you would need to purchase. So, and I know that he's going to be doing an order later on in the year. But yeah, that's something that admin would. So there's power in numbers.
Okay.
I would just talk to your admin and say, hey, is there a chance that we can do this? And then he can go to Casey. And, you and I can go to Casey, but we don't have the same weight as an admin does. So.
Okay. So you're talking about purchase, though, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
There are none in the district that are available. I won't say there's none. There's a few, but not many.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I know my colleagues will help me be the squeaky wheel in that regard.
That's fine. Hey,
Well,
we got to get the kids what they need.
right.
So.
Well, and I'm just, if they have a sibling that's in 4th grade and they have a touch screen, maybe they let the kindergartner use that Chromebook and they,
Yeah, except for I know that the 4th grade, they use them for touchscreen also in their lessons and that. So
yeah.
that one might have to be a shared one. Again, they have a QR code, so they can
Right.
log in as the kindergartner and 4th grader or vice versa.
Sure. Okay.
So yeah.
Do 4th and 5th grade, you said, have the touchscreen ones?
Some, not everyone.
Okay.
I think there's 4 classrooms total
Okay.
in Smith that have touchscreens.
Okay. All right, gang. Joy has a cow in her classroom.
Sweet. So Joy, I'll double check with Casey, make sure he's not replacing your touchscreens. If you see him coming by and coming into your room, you might want to stand at the door and just make sure he doesn't touch them. No, he'll leave them for you. Yes.
Don't tell anybody else, Joy.
Yeah. Yeah. Don't tell anybody else, although it's on video for everyone to see.
Right. Shoot.
But yeah, they can be used.
That was the thing in kindergarten. We gave up our Chromebook cows, and those were touchscreen. I can't remember when we gave those up, and those went over to Smith.
Yeah.
And here we are.
Yep. Who knew?
Any
right.
other burning questions, gang? Robert, I feel like as you view your Seesaw for schools admin view, I feel like as they complete assignments in their classes, you'll be able to see that on your end. And then maybe and maybe you can show Trisha and she can just come in and see so-and-so's class completed one assignment. We know that's the one for clock hours.
Right. On my screen overview, I see that there were 3 posts added in the last 7 days.
Okay.
But
you can't see what posts.
Well, I'm sure I can somewhere.
Okay.
This is the first day I've been in as an admin.
Right.
So, yep.
To answer your question, Jody, we were saying to email Robert when you completed the activity so that he knew you were done and he could go into your teacher account and see that you had finished the assignment. So we're trying to figure out right now if there's an easier way for him to do that with his admin view in Seesaw for Schools. But just as an insurance policy, email him.
So just to finish up, because we got about a minute, I'm going to share the Teaching and Learning YouTube channel. So if you go there, and it's also going to be in the chat, which is then linkable or clickable. So if you go to the YouTube channel, that's where all the videos are going to be hosted. So there's the Get Families Started on Seesaw, Remote Learning Seesaw. There's 3 that are specifically Seesaw. And then there's all the other trainings that have been recorded. If you want to be notified when new trainings or new videos come in, there's a subscribe button. And so if you click on subscribe, when I put them in, you'll just get an email saying that a new video has been added. I'll still shoot an email to everybody, but this saves you from having to one more email from him type. It's like, yeah, let's pitch that one. So you would still know. So that's the YouTube channel on the oh, do I still have it? So on the EdTech site, I have created a page, and it is called Distance Learning Tutorial for Parents and Students. And so this page, let me send this out also. I'm doing a shameless plug. And that link takes you to the page that for parents and students. There are a bunch of Google videos, and there's some Seesaw. One specifically for families in English, and there are 2 that have Spanish versions. So if you want to send that information out to your parents as well. The Google videos are very short, anywhere between a minute to no more than 3 minutes. They're created by literally everybody all over the world. So you might have a British accent, you might have a Colombian accent, you might have, Australian. Some of them are pretty cool. Some of them are hard to understand, but they step you through. There's 4 steps maximum. So anyway, so there's that available to you as well. Also on that link will take you, on the left side, you'll be able to see the training forum, and then there's one of the options is other tutorials and cheat sheets. And so there's Seesaw in there. There's a few links there. There's the ones for Kahoot, and Flipgrid, and Nearpod, and multimedia. And, so anyway, enjoy that reading as well, especially, just having a hard time going to sleep at night. Click on one of these links, and I'll make sure that you go to sleep. So
thank you, Robert.
Sure.
Need all the help I can get these days.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I think that's about it.
That's it, everyone.
If you need me, come find me in room 404. I'm living here these days, so. Or shoot me an email if you have any issues. You know where I am, C. Prigmore. So thank you.
Thank you, everybody. Enjoy the rest of your day. And if I don't talk to you tomorrow, I'm sure I'll see many of you on Monday or Tuesday or Wednesday. Bye.